Hey guys, welcome back to Homestead Prepping and Survival. Well, I keep catching possums up here at night or eating the cat's food that they don't finish. And that means she only gets to eat one time a day if they finish it. So I thought I'd put it up on top of the old grill up here, and I put her up there and she ate a little bit and then jumped down. And of course, Buddy, he won't let me touch him, so he hasn't figured out that I put his food up there. They're wanting me to put it on the ground, but I'm hoping that'll prevent me from feeding the possums. I don't mind possums being on the property. They eat a lot of ticks and other bugs and stuff, and ticks is what got me sick, so I want them gone. I don't kill the possums. I don't kill the raccoons, all that, because they eat a lot of ticks, but the raccoons can cause more problems than they're worth. So I usually trap them and then haul them off about 5 or 6 miles down the road and turn them loose. And I've actually got one on the deer camera back there. So it may be time for me to trap a little more. It was rather small compared to the ones I've caught in the past. But anyway, I just wanted to do a quick video for y'all. And first of all, thank you for all the views, all the people that are out there watching the videos. We are almost to 13,000 views, and the 22 long rifle for self-defense has got almost 4,000 views last time I looked at it. I haven't checked in a day or two, so it could be over 4,000 by now. So a third of my views is that video. But I just wanted to say a quick thank you for those that are watching the videos and those that are subscribing. And guys, if you have not subscribed, please hit the subscribe button and hit the thumbs up button. That helps my channel grow so very much, and it's absolutely free to you. So thank y'all very much for that, and we're gonna get into the rest of the video. Y'all be safe. They run around like they're crazy when I first let them out. Alright, so I've been to our local Lowe's here in Americus. Got a couple of bags of potting mix, as you see, so I'm going to try to do some cuttings off for most of my fruit trees. And you see this outdoor rated 12-2 wire. That is what ran from this building all the way out to the other side of where that scuppling vine is laid over. I used to have chicken pens back there, so I had power out there for the light and heat and all that stuff. So I tried pulling it up myself and I couldn't get it to go. Ended up having to cut a bunch of the vines where they've just grown over it so much I couldn't pull through it. So my son-in-law came over and we kind of double teamed it, cut the vines and pulled the wire up. He did most of the pulling, to be honest, and pulled it all the way up, as you can see, to this corner. And I couldn't get it to pull out from under that corner, but once we got this pulled to here, it pulled that 20 feet out, so it didn't come loose. It slid through the tunnel, I guess. But either way, so I managed to save that 100 feet of 12-2 wire. I priced wire while I was at Lowe's, and it's about 80 bucks for 50 feet. So I just saved 150 bucks or more, because I'm sure it was pretty close to 100 feet. So that's going to give me the wire I need to come off the panel box inside, to come through this wall, and I'm going to run up and put a light fixture here, run across and put a light fixture there, and run out and put a light fixture in the middle of this side so that the play area for the grandkids is lit up, and it also lights up part of the chicken pen and this part of the backyard, even though there's a floodlight there on the corner that's motion that lights up all the parking area and stuff. And back here, I feel like this one will be in a better spot. And I went ahead and picked up these screws that I need. And I only got 1 inch, but the metal screws, so I can get the roof done on the other side when I do the lean-to, and out at the pistol range I need to get that roof repaired and the shelter done. So I've got screws for that. Went ahead and picked up 2 more motion censored floodlights. I've got 3 out at the range. 2 of them really aren't ever used, so I'll probably take one of them from there. but I plan on putting one on this side. Now, here is my plan with this side, is once the lean-to is built over here, just like this side, I want to come across the front all the way out about 8 feet in front of the mini barn. So I'll have shelter in front so that I can have a place to work under the shelter without actually being where all the equipment and stuff is parked. So basically it's going to be shelter for a porch area without a floor, of course, on the front side, and then the lean-to on both sides. This side's going to get wrapped and closed in, and then on the back side, maybe one day down the road, do a shelter across, all the way across the back as well, but that is not even in the plans right now. So there's a lot to do, but pulling up that wire took us a little while. I just didn't want to abandon that wire, as expensive as wire is right now. 80 bucks for indoor rated 12-2 for 50 feet. So outdoor rated usually costs a little bit more. I didn't even price it. So I'm looking, I saved at least 150 bucks by saving that. And now I did cut the wire at the receptacle out there because it's mounted to the post that fell over. And I just didn't want to run back up here and get tools to take it loose. But I've got a weatherproof box and cover and everything out there with the receptacle in it that I can take off and reuse at a later date. So although I did buy 4 new weatherproof covers for the switches and the receptacles that I plan on adding, I'm going to run and put a receptacle on the outside on this side of the barn, and I'm also going to put a receptacle on the back side of this shelter, but on the building, so it's for the chickens, so I can run the lights off of it. That I think that would just be a shorter run than running a whole new wire from the well down. So I don't want to have to do that twice, so I'll just run it from here. It's a lot closer, because all 3 of the lights in the chicken pens, I always put a light on them in the winter months, and it's got a thermocoupling receptacle or plug that goes on the end of my cord, and when it gets below 40 degrees it brings the light on, and when it gets above 40 it turns it back off, so I don't ever have to do anything but make sure the bulbs aren't blown. So that is the idea for keeping the chickens warm this winter. You know, we have mild winters here in the South. I don't even have to use a heat lamp. I just use a metal covered shop light type thing. I'm sure y'all have seen it inside the old pen there. So there'll be one up above the roost in all 3 pens. So all 3 pens will have a heat source to keep warm during the winter. And anyway, I always run extension cord. There's actually one hanging on the back side of the pen that runs all the way around here to inside. Putting a receptacle back there will keep me from having to do that. Plus, when I'm doing projects like building the rabbit boxes and stuff, it'll give me a power source back there without having to run extension cords all the way around. And I also want to put a receptacle on this side of the building, and I'm going to put the receptacle under the shelter here in the middle, right there where the wire is, and I'm going to come off the receptacle power to run to a light switch and over to the light that I want on this side. So I only have to have one run from the indoor panel box to that receptacle, and then from that receptacle to the light switch to the light or lights. But that'll give me power on all 3 sides, or actually 4 sides of the building, because it's going to be on the corner on the other side to use for either end. And then it'll give me 2 lights on one side with a floodlight, and it'll give me a light over here so I can see, and eventually there'll be a floodlight on this front awning here that I may put on the building until then. So that'll light up all this area if I need it, if I'm working later in the evening. And y'all know it gets darker a little earlier now, so you know, you don't really have time to do much after work for us working folks when it gets dark at 5:30, and it's already getting dark at 7:30 now, so it won't be but another month or so, and you know, it's going to be dark. You ain't gonna have any daylight by the time you get home from work. So that's kind of the idea, is to set it up to where if I want to do projects, I will have the light and the power I need. But I just wanted to show y'all what I've been working on. And I still have not started going through that lumber yet. I will probably start that in the next few days. So I am trying to get projects completed. I am glad that I finally got the panel box installed in the mini barn instead of the junction box, which was okay, but I like having the panel box so I can put a GFI breaker in it for all the outdoor power down here. So if something happens, that breaker trips a lot easier than a standard breaker. But either way, I've got to get whatever flower pots and things I've got together and get the potting soil put in them. And I used to have those steel tables that I gave my buddy Alan. That was my potting tables, you know, didn't really need them, but I've got a bunch of pots here. And I can plant a couple of plants in each one. So that's my idea, is I'm gonna do some cuttings and put it in that root starter hormone to try to make some new trees from the trees that I already have. So I'll have, you know, more than 1 or 2 nectarines, and I'll have more peaches and more pears and more apples. I'm planning on doing a dozen or 2 of blueberries, because the 2 bushes did really well last year, but you've got to have a lot of bushes to have enough to do any canning with. So out of the, I think the 8 bushes that I originally planted there, only the ones on each end survived. So I want to go out to the field area out here, planning on cutting these 3 trees down, eventually dig the root balls up. But I'm going to plant, I planted up 40 fruit trees, different types, out here several years back, and only a couple of them survived. Most of them did not. So I'm going to try it again. I'm going to do some cuttings from what I've got. I've got 2 apple trees up on the other end that are still growing, and a mulberry tree up there that is still growing. So my idea is keep those 2 apple trees and the mulberry tree, of course, that's my favorite tree, and plant some more trees up in this area of the property, because I really don't use it for much. So I'm going to plant more fruit trees up there and possibly add some down here. I want to keep most of the field open, so if the grandkids, when they get a little older and they want to get out and play ball or badminton or volleyball or whatever, you know, they'll have room to do that. But this pine and these 2, whatever kind of oak tree they are coming down, and the poison oak that runs on them, all that's coming down. And I've got to get that electrical pipe buried, but that's still not a big hurry. I've got another dead pine back there that needs to come down, and I got to cut those up. I've got a dead oak back there close to the classroom on the range I was looking at earlier, and it looks like lightning hit it. It split up the top like lightning hit that thing, and that may have caused the damage when the limbs fell and hit my building. So I plan on cutting that tree down, and that'll be used for firewood, of course, for my sister or my daughter, or who, you know, something like that. I don't have anything to burn it in other than outdoor, so I can burn pine for that. So there's a lot going on, and there's a lot to be done, and you know, I hope it's not just one person like I am at y'all's place doing all your projects. I hope you've got a lot more help with your prepping and your plans to grow your homestead or mini farm or whatever it is, because doing it, you know, by yourself is a lot of work. But I have to ask for help from my son-in-law sometimes, because some things I just can't do by myself. So it is tough, but you know what? You keep pushing forward. You keep trying to increase your odds for when crap hits the fan, and there's, you know, no denying it. So I'm hoping to get the wiring started sometime in the next week or so, depending on, you know, how each day goes. But hopefully I can get the wiring started. I bought light fixtures to go under the shelters. I actually bought an extra 1 or 2, and I bought those floodlights, and I bought the boxes and the weatherproof covers and everything I've got now, especially with that wire, so I don't have to buy anything else other than just time of running the wire and getting things done. So, hey guys, just throwing in this little update. Excuse me. I spent yesterday afternoon till I had company come over. So what I've done is I've run power from that panel box I put inside, excuse me, outside to this switch receptacle combo, and it brings the lights inside the lean-to on or off. Feeds this double receptacle here, and then it runs up and over. I'm feeding power to this floodlight, this motion censored, power all the time, aims toward the chicken pens and toward the front of the building, so anybody walks anywhere close to the lean-to area, the floodlight comes on. And I picked it up over past the front of my truck, and then there's a floodlight on the front of that building, so picks it up a good little ways. And then I put a double receptacle on this end. Now I got the stuff mounted yesterday. I just didn't get the switch wired and the indoor panel box wired. So when I got home today, instead of sitting down and resting, which is what I probably should be doing, I went ahead and finished the wiring. So I've got the wire nailed in place, you know, grounds, all that stuff. So it's within code. And where I live, if you do your own wiring, you don't have to have a license, although I probably should get my license. I'm pretty sure I could pass the test. I've been doing it for 40 years almost. Well, 40 years, yeah. So anyway, I just wanted to give y'all a quick little update, and I'm gonna throw this in the video that I started yesterday for y'all. That will come out most likely Monday, possibly Saturday. So if you get it Saturday, great, and if not, you will get this video Monday. We're at the end of the week, so I've got to get it edited, and then I've got to get it saved to a memory card, and I take it to work with my laptop and upload it from there, because y'all know my internet is beyond pitiful out here. But anyway, I put that light on 30 minutes so it would stay on for the video. But I just wanted to show y'all I have got the part that I need right now of the wiring completed. I'm got to frame out each end so I can start wrapping it with metal, but that's going to be after I do the lean-to on the other side. So that's why I bought the weatherproof covers here. I've got one for the switch receptacle combo. I just haven't put it on yet because it's actually going to be inside, but I'm going to put a weatherproof cover on it until the metal is wrapped around this building. So, and weatherproof cover on this one back here. So everything is fine. What's not in a weatherproof container is in a dry environment. It's under the shelter and so on and so forth. So I know that's not a weatherproof box that I use, but like I say, they will be inside the building once I wrap it with metal. So I'm sure I'm not the only one that does that. But you know, I had to go through the wall, and I put a Romex connector on there to keep it from cutting on the sharp edges. It's nailed up here at the top, so I need to just kind of tuck that wire to the side a little bit. And I'm gonna go in the building and show y'all. Hold on one second. So what I told y'all, let me turn the light on, it'll probably be a little better. I was going to put the breaker here, but it has its own common wire that feeds back to the ground bar, and it wasn't long enough to feed from this side, so I switched these two. This is the left receptacles and this is the outdoor power. So I've just got to erase this and rewrite it. But either way, it does work. If I press test, it trips the breaker and turn it back off, back on. So I'm using 12 gauge wire, which is rated for 20 amps, and that's what that breaker is. These are 15s. I could put 20s, but I'm not going to. And of course I had that 30 extra. So that's what I've got. But finally got what I consider important done, because this building's been on just a junction box that was mounted down here and then fed into the switch and all that fed the rest of the building. And I I wanted a panel box. So I could always put piggyback breakers in here and turn that 4 into 8, because this panel box will not hold more. But I could put piggybacks and turn it into 8. But those piggyback breakers are around 40 bucks a piece. And I'm way under amp draw for this building for what those breakers are. So I'm not worried about that. So I'm just going to leave it like it is. Again, I took the cover off to make it easy for me to get to, because it is an outdoor rated box, so it would be weatherproof. But anyway, we'll get back to the regularly scheduled programming. Y'all be good. Hey guys. Alright, I don't know if you can tell or not, but you can see my shadow. That's from the new light, actually. It aims all the way over into the 3rd pin here. They're getting up on the roost. It completely lights up the middle pin, and it lights up the last pin way over here. Like the old board in the old doghouse over yonder is lit up. It lights all the way up the property line. If y'all can tell, my shadow is over there. Had it set on 1 minute, so it just went off. But I'm well pleased with it. It lights up really well. Those are only 11 watt LED floodlights, so it's not burning up my power bill when it comes on. But I'll show y'all. Yeah, see, I'm 10 or 12 feet from the swing when it caught me. But either way, my it is about to die. So I'm going to go inside, plug the phone up, upload these parts of the video that I've put for y'all or made for y'all, and I'm put it together and get it ready to upload. Y'all be safe. So I do appreciate y'all watching the videos, and if you're in Southwest Georgia and you want to maybe collaborate, you know, get to know each other or whatever, I am here. I am more than welcome to meet new preppers and new preparedness mindset people. So y'all send me an email, comment, whatever it is you want to do. I will respond to everyone that I can, and I appreciate y'all. So thank you for subscribing to the channel. If you have not done so, please subscribe. It helps me grow. We are on the upper end of the 180 now. I think last time I looked it was 185. I'm sitting here watching the squirrels in the top of that tree over yonder playing. We've got an abundance of squirrels here because nobody hunts them, and they need thinning out. But anyway, I do thank y'all very much for watching and subscribing, and for those that, you know, are considering it, please hit that subscribe button. It doesn't cost you a thing. So y'all remember the 2 things I always tell you. Jesus loves you, and so do I. Y'all be safe and be prepared.